I'm going to show you how to make your own skin tone if you don't have that color paint. So these are just craft paints. This one is an antique white. This is a really good option when you're just laying down a foundation of paint to create your skin tone. So just starting with a little bit of it, and maybe you know, just kind of testing out how it's not a lot of red that you would add to this. So just kind of start out and add just a little bit of red. If it ends up being a little bit pinker than you want, then you can add just a little bit of yellow. Like that. So that gives you a good base, and you can lighten it and you can darken it with with those colors. It's the same thing on if you just have white. Let me wash my brush. So you just take your white paint. I start out adding the yellow to it. And again, it's very little that you're going to add, and just a tiny bit of red. Probably actually have a little too much yellow in there. Nope, that actually ended up working pretty good. And so then you can again have your different shades of skin tone. You can then leave some white over here, and then like add, if you're gonna use your paint for shading and you want a little bit of a lighter tone, then you know, put a little bit to the side and add just a little bit of white, so then you can get another shade of skin tone there. Same thing up here. It's drying. It's getting pretty warm here today already. So again, same concept, but I just wanted to put that out there that if you don't actually have skin tone, making your own, it's again either like a sand color with a yellow, and this is kind of a gold yellow, not bright yellow, and a red. Okay, so for this one, I think what we're going to do is I showed you how to make your own skin tone if you don't have it. So I used the skin tone that I made, and I painted her face, and I did this time pull out just my my chalk, and I grabbed some Q-tips. So we're going to do the same type of process in shading. We're going to start around the eyes and the nose and around the oval of the face and the neck to get the shading. So I will start my shading and probably start with like maybe a lighter brown or maybe kind of a yellow color, and then build my way up with then using the darker colors to enhance the depth of like her nose and around her eyes. Okay, so you may have noticed that chalk is very forgiving, and it actually, you know, it blends really well with your fingers, or as you could see, I was using a Q-tip, rubbing it on my chalk and using that as my applicator. So that's actually a really, really nice alternative to, you know, if you don't have the applicators. So just, you know, keep that in mind, use that to your advantage, and you know, just kind of play with it. So I think what I'm going to do now is I will pull back out my color pencils and I'm going to define her eyes again and her mouth and her nose. And I have chalk all over my page and I'm not really going to worry about that because I am going to be adding some, I think I'm going to give her blue hair today and then give her a background. So that's what I think I'm going to do with her. I'm going to give her some green eyes. So I'm going to pull out some greens and some blues and then of my pencils and some black and maybe a color for her lips. So maybe some pinks and some reds. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the eyes first. So I'm going to zoom in and hopefully this captures okay on the camera. So I am going to give her more of a hazel style color in her eyes. So I'm going to work from the outside of the iris in, and I'm going to start with a blue. And I'm going to just color around the blue to give the iris a little bit of depth in the color. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill it in with a green. It's kind of a bright green, but we will make it work since I already put it on there. Okay, I'm going to do the same. I do one eye and the other eye, and I try to keep it in and do the same thing so that I'm trying to be consistent. And I used to do them separate, and then I couldn't figure out what I did on the prior eye. So this is how I decide to do this. Okay. There's some pretty bright eyes, but then I have this other kind of a teal color, and maybe with this just go in and add some of the little bicycle-y type spoke lines. You can't really see that on camera very well. This paper doesn't want to capture well, I guess, on camera. That one you can see a little bit better. We'll do these ones a little bit darker. Okay, and then I have another light blue. Maybe just kind of add a little color over that, blend it in a little bit. Okay, and then I'll go back over it with maybe a little bit of black even to give the outside a little bit more depth because the blue I lost the blue. And I will do her irises now. Okay, again, I'm gonna go ahead and add the little bit for where the tear ducts are. And I will add a little bit of pink in there. Not a lot, just a little. Okay, and then now I'm going to go back and I'm going to outline her eyes and give them the black lines. Okay, so I think that for the most part, I am going to say that I'm happy with her face. So I'm going to then, now I'm going to add some color to her hair. I am going to pull out my watercolors for this, and we're going to give her some blue hair. So I think we're going to add a little bit more to her hair. So I'm going to pull, which I put them all away, but I'm going to pull a couple of my chalks back out. and I'm going to start with a blue one. I'm just going to go through and add some, you know, some definition lines too. And with the chalk, you can easily smudge them with your fingers. Just find, you know, like the hair's darker when it's under. I do like the darker lines around the face, and they're a little bit darker when it comes to the part as well. I have watched myself on video and I'm like, how many times can I say as well in one video? So I've been trying not to say it, but I don't think that's working. I think I'll add also a little bit of purple in there. Your lines can go however you want them to. They can go, see, like that one went out of the lines, but it gives a nice look to it. And I think I'll add just a little bit of black, not a lot. Things that just adds 100% changes your picture. If you add some alternate colors in there, it can be any color that you want it to do. Maybe she needs like a few little strands that fall. Although my fingers are covered in chalk, so, but that's okay. You just add it around the page, make it look like it was intentional. Okay, so I'm going to wipe my fingers because they're full of chalk. And now I painted a little bit of green down here. She has green eyes, so I thought, well, we're going to give her a green shirt. So I, again, am going to take my chalk. Let me see if I can move this out just a little bit. And I'm going to kind of define her shirt and give her... maybe she needs like a ruffle or something. Maybe we'll give her a little color in there. You could totally pick a different color. Put red or something in there. She needs a little line for an armpit. Fingers are very chalky right now, so. Okay, let's see. I think that I'm pretty happy with this. Kind of think her face is a little too wide there. So if you find an area that you want to cut in and you're using chalk, that is a great way to, you know, narrow the face and give her a little blue. Oh, that was kind of big, but people's hair just kind of, it's a wisp. We're going to call that a wispy. Okay, so the one thing I do want to mention is when you're using something like chalk or pastels, you want to kind of add a little bit of a fixative to this, because when you close your pages, they will get on each other. You could put like a piece of like wax paper or something over it. But go into your cupboard, see, or your bathroom, and see if you have hairspray, aerosol hairspray. You can use that in a pinch. I do have this matte finish, but again, that is in my artist supplies. They do sell this even at Walmart or the craft stores if it's something that you decide that you enjoy this process. But if you just go to the store and get the Aquanet nasty smelling terrible hairspray, if you use that, no big deal. But and then just go out there and spray it, let it dry, and spray again, and then that will help you with preserving your page.